जय श्री श्री राधा माधव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Okay, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavad, Canto 3, entitled The Status Quo, Chapter 28, entitled Kapila's Instructions on Devotional Service, verse number 36, 3.28.36. So apiyetaya charamaya manaso nivritya tasmin mahimni avastita sukha dukha bhaye hetu tvam api asati kartari dukhayorya swatman vidatta upalabdha paratmakastha. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Thus situated in the highest transcendental stage, the mind ceases from all material reaction and becomes situated in its own glory, transcendental to all material conceptions of happiness and distress. At that time, the yogi realizes the truth of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He discovers that pleasure and pain, as well as their interactions, which he attributed to his own self, are actually due to the false ego, which is a product of ignorance. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Forgetfulness of one's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a product of ignorance. By yoga practice, one can eradicate this ignorance of thinking oneself independent of the Supreme Lord. One's actual relationship is eternally that of love. The living entity is meant to render transcendental loving service to the Lord. Forgetfulness of that sweet relationship is called ignorance. And in ignorance, one is impelled by the three material modes of nature to think himself the enjoyer. When the devotee's mind is purified, he understands that his mind has to be dovetailed with the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has attained the perfectional, transcendental stage, which is beyond the perception of material distress and happiness. As long as one acts on his own account, he is subject to all the material perceptions of so-called happiness and distress. Actually, there is no happiness, just as there is no happiness in any of the activities of a madman. So in material activities, the mental concoctions of happiness and distress are false. Actually, everything is distress. When the mind is dovetailed to act according to the desire of the Lord, one has attained the transcendental stage. The desire to lord it over material nature is the cause of ignorance. And when that desire is completely extinguished and the desires are dovetailed with those of the Supreme Lord, one has reached the perfectional stage. Upalabdha Paratma Kashtha. Upalabdha means realization. Realization necessarily indicates individuality. In the perfectional liberated stage, there is actual realization. Nivritya means that the living entity keeps his individuality. Oneness means that he realizes happiness in the happiness of the Supreme Lord. In the Supreme Lord, there is nothing but happiness. Anandamayo Abhyasat. The Lord is by nature full of transcendental happiness. In the liberated stage, oneness with the Supreme Lord means that one has no realization other than happiness. But the individual still exists. Otherwise, this word upalabdha, indicating individual realization of transcendental happiness, would not have been used. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So once again I am happy to offer this service to the devotees of Columbus and around. Actually, it's many months I have not done an online class. So it's good to be again back online. So we are reading this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein Kapil Muni has described how a yogi, a devotee, practicing dhyana, he concentrates and focuses on the beautiful form of Vishnu in his heart, and when he is in samadhi, in complete absorption in Vishnu's form, he develops a purity of his mind and heart and consciousness, and he becomes liberated, and he develops and understands his loving relationship with Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So at that stage, the mind now is beyond dualities. See, the spiritual world is free from dualities, and the spiritual world and the material world is perverted reflection of spiritual world. So being a perverted reflection, there is something which is added and something which is subtracted. It is not exact, perverted. So material world, what is added is dualities, happiness, distress, true, false, right, wrong, heat, cold, profit, loss, honor, dishonor, left, right. All these are dualities, two extremes. In the spiritual world, there is no duality. There is no happiness and distress. Spiritual world is happiness and happiness. True and true. Joy and joy. Profit and profit. There is no dualities in the spiritual world. So when a devotee grows and gets advanced, then eventually his mind gets free from material contamination. Material contamination is the influence of three modes: goodness, passion and ignorance, contaminating our mind with material desires and material habits and material goals and material ambitions and dirty things, anarthas like lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. So these are dirty things. Freedom from these dirty things makes us pure. And when we come in contact with Krishna, when a yogi comes in contact with the form of Vishnu, or as devotees we come in contact with the holy name of Krishna or the deity of the Lord, or we come in contact with Srimad Bhagavatam by hearing and reading, our mind becomes free from these dirty things. And not only free from these dirty things, but for an advanced devotee, the devotee is transcendental to the dualities, to happiness and distress. Now that is very great, to be transcendental to dualities, to be transcendental to happiness and distress. We should know we come under the dualities. The mind is influenced to happiness and distress because of the false ego. The cause of mind's happiness and distress is false ego. That means there is real ego. Ego means I, identity. Real ego means I am servant of Krishna. I am part and parcel of Krishna. That's real ego. And false ego means I am a boy, I am a girl, I am a father, I am a mother, I am Indian, I am American, I am British, I am manager, I am lawyer, I am doctor, I am brahmachari, I am grahast, I am sannyasi, I am brahmana, I am kshatriya. All this I is false ego, false identity. And because of this false identity, the mind generates a list of desires. And when the desire is fulfilled, we feel happy. And when the desire is not fulfilled, we feel distress. So because of the false ego, we get different desires. And because of the desires getting fulfilled or not, we get experience of happiness and distress. But everything is false. There is no meaning to all this. For example, if I think I am a boy, then the mind will make a list of desires, desirable objects. It may be football, it may be shoes, it may be jeans pant, it may be car, it may be jacket, it may be association with a young beautiful girl, etc. If I think I am a girl, then the mind will have a different desires. The mind will have desires of I need bangles or necklace or jewelry or nice dress and makeup and lipstick and a young boy, like that. Same soul. But when the soul, under the influence of false ego, has a false identity, based on that identity, the mind produces a list of desires. If I think I am a goat, then the desire would be to have a female goat, to have a nice green grass, to have company of other goats, and to be free from the attack of tiger and lions. If I think I am a lion, then the desire would be to have a goat or a cow or a rabbit or a deer and a cave and a lioness, female lioness. If I think I am a manager, then the desire would be a nice car, a nice office cabin with a table and a chair and a laptop and a secretary and obedient employees. If I think I am a servant, then the desire would be to have a nice broom and a nice cloth to wipe and mop and clean and a master to give obedience, to give command, and I'll obey, and good salary. So whatever is the identity, false identity, accordingly mind makes a desires, a list of desires. And then we work hard to fulfill those desires based on false identity, unwanted desires. And when the desire is fulfilled, I feel happy. When the desire is not fulfilled, I feel distress. There is no happiness actually. It is a false sense of happiness because a desire is fulfilled. If I am playing football, then the desire in the mind will be that I kick the ball and it goes into the particular location, a particular net. And if it goes inside by my kick, I am happy. If it goes 1 centimeter away from the net, I am distressed. I am unhappy. Actually, nobody in the world gets actual tangible benefit by kicking a ball in a particular location. Nobody gets a benefit in that. But a desire is created in the heart of a player, football player, that if I kick this ball in this location, I will be happy. My desire will be fulfilled. And he runs and runs and runs hard, protecting the ball and defending the ball just to kick it at a particular location with his team. And he wants happiness if it kick on a particular location. But it's completely illusory. The pig thinks if I get wet stool, I will be happy. Is there happiness in stool? No. But the pig thinks that way. And we laugh at the pig. In the same way, we go for shopping thinking, if I get these 5 items on my list, I will be happy. Please understand, there is no happiness in these items. The very mall or the supermarket we go for purchasing, there are 50,000 items and the owner is not happy with those 50,000 items. How will we be happy keeping 5 items out of 50,000 items in our purse, in our car, in our pocket? How will we be happy with the 5 items when the owner is not happy with 50,000 items? 5 items among 50,000 items, we will not be happy. These objects don't have happiness. These material events don't have happiness. It is false, it is illusory. It is fulfillment of desires which gives a sense of happiness. For example, you eat some sweet, say gulab jamun. As soon as you take gulab jamun and put it on your tongue, you become happy. Why? Is there happiness in gulab jamun? No. What are the ingredients of gulab jamun? It contains milk, sweet, flour, ghee, fire. Does it contain happiness? No. Nobody puts happiness in a utensil while preparing gulab jamun. So when you put that gulab jamun object on your tongue, what you are putting is a combination of milk, ghee, flour, fire on your tongue. You are not putting happiness. But as soon as it touches your tongue, we feel happy. Why? Because there was a desire to eat gulab jamun, and the desire as soon as is fulfilled, check mark, we feel happy. Like if you have 10 tasks in the day and one is completed and you check mark, you feel happy. Why you feel happy? Even that the task is boring and unwanted. But check, tick, done, task done. So you're happy. You're not happy because you did the task. The task may not be giving happiness, but done, the done part gives happiness. So when desire is fulfilled, eat gulab jamun, you feel happy. But dynamically, as soon as you tick, eat gulab jamun, a new desire appears in the list of the mind, eat second gulab jamun. So then I eat the second one, again tick, again I am happy, and dynamically the third list, another desire comes, eat third gulab jamun, again I eat, again I become happy, fourth, fifth, 10th gulab jamun I eat and I become happy, and then there is no desire in the list of desires to eat 11th gulab jamun. Now if somebody forces a gulab jamun in my mouth, there will be a fight. I will not be happy with the same 11th gulab jamun. But after 6 hours or 8 hours, again there will be a desire in the list. Eat one more gulab jamun. Or next day again there will be a desire. So if there's a desire present in the list of the mind and that desire is fulfilled, we become happy. If the desire is not present and still something like that event happens, which is not corresponding to any desire, we become unhappy. Or when the desire is present and it is not fulfilled, all my friends get gulab jamun and I don't get gulab jamun, then I become unhappy. So this is false happiness. This is illusory happiness. This is happiness which doesn't exist, but we feel because the senses come in contact with sense objects and the desire is fulfilled. So the mind, which is under the three modes, which is under the false ego, and we are ignorant. False ego means ignorance. Ignorance of our relationship with Krishna. The ego doesn't allow us to come in contact with Krishna. Just like sometimes the sky is cloudy, and because of the cloud you cannot see the sun. The clouds cover the sun. Actually no, the clouds cannot cover the sun. The clouds are very small, sun is very huge. The clouds cover our eyes and we cannot see the sun. Who produces the clouds? Sun. The sun evaporates water from the ocean and produces clouds. So in the same way, ego is produced by Krishna, false ego. And that false ego covers the soul, covers this vision of the soul. And the soul comes under false ego, under ignorance, and cannot see Krishna, cannot see the sun. And how does the cloud go away? The cloud goes away by the sun only. The sun keeps shining and the cloud goes away. The cloud is created by the sun and cloud goes away by the sun and the wind, and the cloud covers our eyes. In the same way, the ego is created by Krishna and the ego is destroyed by Krishna, but meanwhile the ego is covering our eyes. And if you want to destroy the ego, you have to invite Krishna in your consciousness by chanting and hearing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Inside the ears, the sound has to go inside the ears. The Bhagavatam sound vibration which we are hearing has to go inside the ears, and the ears, the sound goes from ears to our heart, where the soul is staying in the region of the heart, and all the cloud of ego is bursted, the bubble of ego is bursted. So we have to allow the sound to go inside the ears, then only this will happen. Not inside the eyes or nose or mouth or any other hole of the body. The sound wave can be accessible only through our ears, and the sound vibration going inside the ears will create this effect, will create this magic, and the cloud will go away. The cloud of ego, the cloud of false ego, the cloud of false identity, that I am boy, I am girl, I am Indian, I am American, I am creator, I am enjoyer, I am controller, I created this house and I am controller of what happens in my house, and I am enjoyer of my house, or I created this car, or I created this object and I am controller of this object and I am enjoyer of this object. No. I am servant of Krishna. Krishna is a supreme creator. Krishna is a supreme controller, And Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, and Krishna is the supreme maintainer. He is maintaining us, and He is supposed to enjoy the benefits of our hard work, the result of our karma that belongs to Krishna, not to us. So with this real ego, with this real understanding that I am servant of Krishna, I execute my life serving Krishna, all my activities, all my actions meant to serve Krishna, then gradually the ego will get destroyed by devotional service. And when the ego is destroyed, the mind is purified of the influence of ego. The mind is purified of the influence of mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. The mind is purified of lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. And the mind is purified of material desires. And there is no difference between happiness and distress. The mind goes beyond happiness and distress, beyond the dualities. That is what is being explained here. And when the mind goes beyond the dualities, a person internally realizes his relationship with Krishna. That Krishna loves me and I am meant to love Krishna. The real relationship between us and Krishna, me and Krishna, is that of love. And love means service. Love means seva. To love Krishna means to serve Krishna. Love Krishna doesn't mean go and say, Krishna, I love you. That's all. No. If a boy and a girl, boyfriend, girlfriend, meet in the park in the evening, and the boy says to the girl, I love you, and the girl says, I am so thirsty, can you get me some water? And the boy says, look, I love you, that's all, nothing else. Is that love? No. Love means offering service. So loving Krishna means offering service to Krishna. And when we serve Krishna, we become purified. We get reinstated on our real ego. We get reinstated on our constitutional position, our national position to serve Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Hoye Krishnera Nitya Das. We are meant to serve Krishna, eternal servants of Krishna. So now in conditioned life, under the dualities, we have forgotten our relationship with Krishna. So there is happiness and distress, there is pleasure and pain in the material realm. But it has nothing to do with us. It is all bodily. The soul has nothing to do with all this profit, loss, happiness, distress, sukha, dukkha. The soul is beyond all this. Because of soul is falsely identifying with the body, all these experiences of happiness and distress, pleasure and pain is there. Just like in sports, there are two teams. And because I identify myself part of one team or loyal to one team, when this team wins, I feel happy. When this team does not win, I feel sad. I'm not even playing the game. I'm just in the mind thinking I am part of this team. Like in cricket, I am Indian, I am Pakistani, I am this Australian. Or in football, there's this team and that team. But if there's a game going on which I am not interested, I don't identify with any team, I will neither have happiness or distress over one's win and another's win, or one's defeat and another's defeat. I will not have any interest. So it's my false identification. So the whole struggle of existence is because of this false identification. So we have to come to real identification that I am servant of Krishna and start serving Krishna. And even little service done to Krishna has a huge effect. When Krishna Balram with their friends came to Mathura, walking on the street of Mathura, at one point Krishna saw Kubja. Kubja was not a very attractive lady, and she was hunchback. She would walk, bend. She would bend at three places: neck, back and waist. So very slowly she would walk, bending with hunchback. And she was having sandalwood, chandan, in her hands. So just to make his friends laugh, Krishna saw Kubja and called, "Hey Sundari, hey beauty queen, who are you? Where are you going? And what is this you are carrying in your hand? If you give this fresh chandan to me, it will be so nice." Krishna spoke to her. Kubja was surprised. Who is calling me Sundari? Who is calling me beauty queen? Never it has occurred in her life, somebody calling him her Sundar, beautiful. So she turned and she saw Krishna, Shyam Sundar, very beautiful, handsome, blackish blue boy with lotus petal like eyes and bow like eyebrows and reddish lips and pearl like white teeth, smiling sweetly and peacock feather and golden dhoti, yellow dhoti and a broad chest and a thin waist, very, very nice Vaijanti mala and mirror-like cheeks, smiling. She got attracted to the handsome form of Krishna. And she laughed. She said, "Shyam, I am Kubja. I am Kans Dasi, servant of Kams. King comes, Raja comes. And every day I offer him fresh chandan and he's very happy with my service. And I'm happy with my job. But seeing you so beautiful, handsome boy, I realize, I understand, I should offer this chandan to you." And she applied yellow chandan to Krishna and blue chandan to Balram, and both the brothers became more beautiful and attractive. And Krishna became very pleased by her innocent service. You see, Kubja, she was going to serve the king. Every day she does it. Comes the king of Mathura. That's government job. Sarkari Nokri, government servant. She was in government job, not to ordinary government job, directly serving the government, the king himself. So there's a big position. But as soon as she saw beautiful Krishna on the road, on the spot she left government job and joined ISKCON and joined the service of Krishna. Krishna is so attractive. So when Krishna received such a nice service of Chandan, he became happy and he thought, I should return the favor by making some offering to Kubja. So Krishna kept his feet on her feet and kept his fingers below her chin and pulled up, and she became straight. And because Krishna touched her, she became purified and she developed Krishna Prem. And she became very beautiful, the most beautiful girl in the town. And everybody was so surprised to see the miracle, and she was very happy and dancing, Haribol, Haribol. And now because she got love for Krishna, she wanted to offer service to Krishna. So she told Krishna, you come to my home, I'll make nice feast. And Krishna said, no, not now, later. But she was not listening. She started pulling Krishna's dhoti right on the street. And Balram was there, Krishna's elder brother, and friends were there, and public were there. And they were all laughing, and Krishna was feeling embarrassed that this girl is pulling my dhoti on the street in front of my elder brother. And everybody was laughing. Krishna said, look, I cannot come now, later I will come. So by doing little service to Krishna, offering chandan to Krishna, was she a loser? No, she was a gainer millions of times. The fruit vendor Mataji, she offered some fruits to Krishna. Was she a loser? No. She gained millions of times. All her fruits basket replaced with jewels and pearls and diamonds and gold and sapphires and emeralds and corals and rubies. So by serving Krishna, we become gainer. We come out of this bodily conception of life. We come out of this influence of three modes of material nature. We become purified. Our mind is purified. We go beyond the happiness and distress. So this hearing Bhagavatam class is service. Chanting holy name is service. Going to temple and attending Mangalarti is service. And doing Dandvat Pranam and cleaning the temple and cooking and distributing prasadam and going for Harinam and preaching and serving the temple. These are all services. We should do that sadhana and seva, our Mangalarti, chanting 16 rounds and hearing class, Guru Puja, Dandavat Pranam, honoring prasadam is sadhana, reading and preaching or serving in the temple or assisting the preacher, serving Vaishnava, serving cows, that service. So we should do this both nicely. Out of it, chanting and hearing is very important and should be done in very nice way, good quality chanting, which means every day we chant and hear attentively Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and every day we hear Bhagavatam. And this forum you have very nice every day mornings in so many years. You all are getting opportunity to chant together and hear and read Srimad Bhagavatam and associate with devotees. And weekends or festivals we go to temple as often as possible and do services. We have Bhagavatam at our home and we read, and devotees have deities at home or photo of deity, and we offer and bhoga and honor prasadam. So all this process we should perform. So the human form of life is meant for this. Human form of life is very nice gift with little effort. Every day chanting and hearing for next whatever years our age is, 30, 40, 50 years. If we do that every day at the end of life, we can see Shyam Sundar face to face. Very nice, such a great opportunity. So we chant minimum 16 rounds without offenses every day. And if we miss this human form of life, we waste in sense gratification or sinful activities, then after 30, 40 years, be prepared to see Yamaraj face to face or Yamdutas face to face. And why one should do that? One should be ready, determined to perform devotional service and go back to what it is life itself. That's the purpose of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. That's the purpose His Divine Grace, His books, established ISKCON society and temples and preached all over the world traveling, so that we all get opportunity to add Krishna to our life, to understand the purpose of our life and to perform activities favorable to the purpose of our life, favorable to bhakti, devotional service. So we should seriously execute the process of Krishna consciousness. Okay, we end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. If there are any comments or any questions, you may please ask.
I have a question. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Very nice class. Thank you so much.
Right.
What I have heard from another devotee is that devotees do feel happiness and distress. Like Arjuna also felt distress when Abhimanyu died, but in the distress, they don't leave the service to Krishna. So it's okay to sometimes feel happy and sad because of material situation. As we are in the material world, there'll always be it's a dukhalyam. So if you can comment on that.
Yes. Well, this particular state, talking about going beyond the duality, is a stage of liberation, going beyond the material existence. And as practicing devotees, which Arjuna showed in his life, we are not stones, so we have affections in our family, and due to that affection there can be happiness and distress, though it is still false because the family relationships are temporary. So we just continue serving Krishna. Look at this. Arjuna went to Krishna and told him, I want to talk about Subhadra. And Krishna said, what's happening? Subhadra is Krishna's sister and Arjuna's wife. So Arjuna told Krishna that Subhadra's son Abhimanyu, our son Abhimanyu, died right in front of you. And Subhadra knows my brother who is present there in the war at the time of Abhimanyu's death is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can do anything. And Krishna could have easily protected Abhimanyu. But Krishna did not protect Abhimanyu. But Subhadra's love for Krishna never reduced. That is what Arjuna was emphasizing and appreciating. Even in ordinary family, if a sister's son, a young son, dies in front of an ordinary brother and the brother doesn't help the son to take to the hospital, the relationship between sister and brother will not stay. The sister will say, from tomorrow I will not see your face because you didn't help my boy when he was about to die. And here there is brother who is not ordinary, who is Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who not only can save a person about to die, who can make a dead person alive. And Subhadra knows that. But still Krishna didn't protect Abhimanyu, but Subhadra's love never reduced. She thought whatever Krishna did is good for me. So that is steady bhakti. But yeah, in our case, we have happiness and distress with our families. We are not stones, but our service should continue. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Next question.
We create our own happiness and distress by our own desires, right? I mean, the desire to enjoy in this material world is the cause of all the distress. We say Krishna, we forgot Krishna and we came to the material world. And so our own desires are responsible, correct? Is that correct to
Yes.
say?
Yes.
Okay. So knowing that this world is a place of distress and there is no happiness, as Prabhupada says in the purport also, how we can give up the desires for enjoyment because they are very deep rooted, the desires for material enjoyment. You mentioned that we have to chant Hare Krishna and then this will destroy the false ego, the sound will go into the heart. But it takes a very long time and it's not like it seems like it's not so fast. So what is your
We dovetail till we attain that stage. We dovetail and get happiness in service of Krishna. For example, the same example of gulab jamun. I get happiness, which is false, but I still want it. So I make gulab jamun, offer to Krishna, and have as prasad, and it still give me happiness. So whatever desires we have, eventually we have to give up this material desires. Anya abhilashita shunyam. That's uttama bhakti, pure bhakti. But till we reach to that stage, when we cannot give up desires, we dovetail the desires. We dovetail it in the service of Krishna. So whatever desires we have, we connect it to Krishna and fulfill those desires in such a way that Krishna is pleased by our offering of service and that desire is fulfilled and we become happy. So till we can diminish or destroy our material desires, we dovetail our desires. Okay?
is that becomes mixed devotional service, right? Because it's not pure devotion. As you were saying, it's not Anya Bilashita Shunyam. It's a mixed devotional service. Yes.
But anybody cannot start practicing pure devotional service just by deciding today I will do it.
Mhm. No, that's true. But I'm saying that
Yes.
dovetailing is mixed devotional service. That's what I'm just.
Yeah, it's see, there are two ways to understand this. Doing devotional service to fulfill my desire to get a material profit or a benefit is not pure devotional service. But having a material desire and fulfilling it in dovetail to Krishna is acceptable form. For example, I have a desire to read, so I read Bhagavad Gita. I have a desire to eat, so I offer and eat. So that's how sadhana bhakti happens, where we purify our senses by Krishna prasadam or Krishna related activities. So it's not pure devotional service, but it's on the path of pure devotional service.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Anything else? Anybody like
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to ask that for Bhakti Shastri course, when we decide to take it up and we want to chant 16 rounds every day and do all the prescribed, the like to follow the path completely, and also to forget the like to get out of the past regression. So how do I combine these both and move forward? Like it's a bit difficult right now.
Okay, I didn't get final part. You mentioned that for doing Bhakti Shastri and also doing 16 rounds and what else?
Chanting God's name, all this comes under all this comes after we get Diksha. So for that we need to do Bhakti Shastri course. I heard that. And what is the eligibility criteria for that? And second question is there have been some events in the past that are hurtful for me, and I'm finding it a little difficult to move forward. So how do I encourage myself?
Okay, your first question is what is the eligibility for initiation or for Bhakti Shastri?
Both.
Okay, for initiation, the minimum requirement is the candidate chants minimum 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra at least for 1 year every day on beats and follows 4 regulatory principles, and connected is Ekadashi and some basic philosophy and association of devotees. And out of that minimum 6 months, one should be hearing from the aspiring spiritual master, prospective spiritual master. And many places it's congregation, then it's more than 6 months. In the temple 6 months is okay, but at least if you are staying at house, not going to temple every day, then the duration is increased for 1 or 2 years. The devotee should be hearing and chanting. And in ISKCON there's IDC course now, ISKCON disciple course. One should have that, and then there's the interview and the exam. Bhakti Shastri is not compulsory for initiation. Some spiritual masters may do that. And for Bhakti Shastri, if somebody has desire to learn scriptures, already chanting and following the 4 regulatory principles, can easily do Bhakti Shastri. It's not much eligibility criteria. You mentioned that there are some hurtful things in the past and how you are finding it difficult to move ahead, right? That's the second question.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So, see, material world is such that whenever we come across people, there will be an exchange, and that exchange will be both sukha and dukkha, happiness and distress for both the parties. And that is because whomever we come in contact, there is some exchange in previous life also. Because of our previous karma, the result has to obtain by us in this life. So whoever is around me becomes the instrument to give me result. So somebody tolerates us, we have to tolerate somebody. Somebody gives us happiness, we give happiness to somebody. Somebody gives us pain, we give pain to somebody. That is how this material world goes on. So when we have some painful or unpleasant experiences in a relationship or in a family setting, we should tolerate it and be busy with favorable items of devotional service, favorable items of our life, and just go ahead. Time will heal. Time is a very great healer. We continue to serve and depend on Krishna, and by time our heart will become calm. And we should not try to think of revenge or something, because we should understand my pain is my responsibility because of my previous karma or because of my present actions. The result unexpectedly is pain, and we should tolerate that pain and move forward in life. So have a busy life in Krishna consciousness, have some nice devotee friends whom you can share, talk, laugh, cry, and in that way it's possible to move on. That's what I can say. Okay. Next.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can you able to hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for a nice class, Prabhuji. I was thinking that You said that in situation of distress or happiness, one should has to do our service, right? But sometimes we feel like that in situation comes in our life which is unpleasant, so our service got affected, right? Okay, we do chanting, but it's not full hearted, not concentrated and focused. So in that situation, um, how one can be fixed and in a determination, or does that kind of service is effective if you are doing chanting 16 round and with no focus or mind got distracted? So is that considered as a, I mean, is it okay to do in such situation?
Well, um, because an unpleasant situation or trauma may take time to heal, we still continue our service or chanting. It may not be a great quality, it will be full of struggle, but we still do it. Krishna understands our situation. And if we don't do it, it will be very difficult to come out of that pain and trauma. By doing it, we can easily come out. Even difficult things become easy by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, by chanting Krishna's holy name. So we continue doing it, and whatever we like to do, which inspires us more and more. For some it is chanting, for some it is nice kirtan, for some it is reading Bhagavatam, for some it is hearing Bhagavatam, for some it is going and sitting in front of the deities, for some it is cooking. Whatever there, which more and more, we should do them. So that our mind will get distracted from the source of pain to source of inspiration, and we'll become more positive, we will heal. So the service is still accepted. Krishna understands what we are going through, and he reciprocates with our sincerity. So we should continue doing services. It will be acceptable. Okay?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I like the example about the mall. You were saying that 5 items we want and the owner has 50,000 items and still he's not happy. So how we can be happy with 5 items? So we see around in this world, when we don't have something, let's say I don't have a nice car, then I look at somebody who has a nice car, but they are also not happy. They are probably having some other desire or something. So that's a very nice to look at the world and see what we don't have, and to see if others have that thing, are they happy? So if they are not happy, then even if I get those things, I will not be happy. Is that the conclusion that you were trying to?
Yes. And the conclusion is, don't find happiness in objects. Find happiness in service of Krishna. That is the only way. And if you have objects, use the object in the service of Krishna. That is the only purpose of objects. Not for sense enjoyment, but for serving Krishna. Matter cannot give happiness to soul. So it's a futile attempt. It's a false attempt. False desire. False hope. Okay?
But when you put that gulab jamun on your tongue, you do feel some gratification, right? You were saying that there is a desire, but actually, of course, it's based on the modes of nature. So let's say they put meat on my tongue, I don't like it. But for somebody who's in ignorance, they put meat on their tongue, then they will feel very happy. So,
Because of the desire. If a particular item you don't have a desire and you put it on your tongue, somebody else may feel happy with that item, but you will not feel happy because you don't have the entry, you don't have the desire. After 10 gulab jamuns, the 11th also should be giving happiness, na? If it is actually containing happiness. But now, since your tongue doesn't want any more sweet item, you will not feel happy. So it's all because of this false, it's an illusory happiness, it's not real happiness. The pig is happy with the stool. You see, what a desire the pig has, what a ignorance, what a tamogun the pig is in, what dirty consciousness the pig is in. It's happy with stool. And if we come across stool, we will vomit. What to speak about stool on our plate? We laugh at the pig. In the same way, Indra is laughing at us when we have sense gratification. Because we are, compared to Indra's sense objects, our sense objects is third class. In the same way, Brahma is laughing at Indra, because compared to Brahma's planet, Indra's planet is third class. And same way, Krishna is laughing at Brahma. So all the way in the chain, the standard of happiness, actually it's not happiness. It's all third class. The real happiness is only in service of Krishna. Okay?
Yes. Any last questions anybody has? Or... So, Prabhu, can we make this a regular event if it's possible? Like every once,
Yeah. Once a week.
once a
The day that finalize. But today is what, Thursday, right? Or Friday?
Friday.
It's your Friday, right?
Yeah, and you're also Friday. It's...
Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay. We'll do once a week. I will finalize the day. I'll message you about that.
Yes. Thank you very much. It was very nice to hear.
Yeah.
Realization.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You all.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.